Once you've finished compiling your images into your collage, you really want to look at how the composition as a whole looks. A couple decisions I made here just to point out is I took these images that had multiple circles and didn't put them in a row next to one another. I tried to spread them as far apart as I could. I tried to take these olivey green colors and spread them farther away, these saturated greens, and not put them next to one another. I looked at angles here, 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 and tried to balance those. These three images, this one here of the green tea, this one here of the plate, and this one here of the wasabi powder or whatever that is the same tone of green, this nice sort of desaturated green with this grayish white background. Those I tried to keep separate from one another so that there was a real difference in how the image works as a whole when you look across it. These creatures here have eyes. I tried to keep them separate from one another. So I didn't make rows of circles and a row of bugs and that kind of thing, so that the images then work more as a whole and your eye is forced to go from here to there to here to there, and those similarities create connections that move you across your image back and forth, creating a little bit more of a dynamic composition. The nice thing is when you have auto select clicked here in that little box is that when you click on your object, it will just simply move them and they pop in and out of their boxes very easily. Once you decide your composition is finished, the last thing I want you to do is remove these little guides so that we can make sure everything worked very clear. The lines, everything lined up perfectly. I'm sorry, I stuttered there. Okay, so we're going to clear my guides, and the last thing I want to do is give it a check. So I'm going to open up my navigator, which is usually open but now closed. So I'm going to zoom way in, and what I want to look at is I want to move along these little cross points to make sure as I go across my image, in each case, none of these objects is moved off slightly this way. You may not see that when you're zoomed out, but up close it becomes problematic, and you can make sure all of these little cross points show up correctly. It becomes very obvious when it's printed, those little flaws, and they tend to hide when you look at things on your screen. So I'm going to check each of the 9 cross points, and mine all look good. And at that point, I'm going to save this as a Photoshop document. It's going to take a while. Oh, maybe. Still at 80%. Okay, and now I'll save it as a JPEG as well. So I have the finished version that's still editable. So if I do realize later on that I do have something that's slightly off, or the edges don't work right, or it seems too blurry, I can still go back into this part of my image and edit it. But I also have the printable JPEG version that gets turned in. Again, saving it at the maximum quality there with number 12, and then you're finished. You'll upload that to your Google Drive or share it through Canvas with the URL, and then it's turned in.